Hello. Today I'd like to start with a meditation practice and then do a little bit of talking. So start by getting yourself comfortable, but kind of in a activated posture. So if you can feel your spine lifting from your pelvis, kind of feel the top of your head lifting up, kind of like a string is pulling the back of your head up so that your head can align over your neck and shoulders as much as possible. And you can close your eyes, or you could just let your gaze soften, kind of really attend to your peripheral vision, or kind of focusing on the space behind your eyes. And just start noticing your breathing. Let your exhale go out completely until you are empty. And then breathe in as completely and fully as you can without discomfort. And as you're doing this, just breathing slowly and steadily, let yourself begin to notice the sounds in your environment. Maybe you can hear a clock ticking, birds singing. You might hear the weather outside, a storm or wind. Perhaps you can hear traffic outside, people talking or moving. And continue breathing and noticing these sounds. And you might notice how these sounds affect you, how they touch you and elicit reactions or just sensations within you. You might also notice that these sounds are not personal to you. They're not happening to you in a specific or personal way. They're not about you necessarily. They're simply the sounds of life continuing around you while you're sitting and listening and just observing. I invite you to bring this to an inner sensing, really feeling the sensations in your body, the feelings, noticing your thoughts. But see if you can bring that same witnessing perspective inside, just for this moment, treating these thoughts, these feelings, just like they're the traffic outside or the wind or the clock ticking. They're not personal to you. They're not about you. They're simply things to notice and witness. And you might notice yourself wanting to follow a thought or having some response to that thought. Just notice that too. Again, as though it's impersonal, as though it's not about you, as though it doesn't even belong to you. It's simply something rising in your awareness. And then you can begin to let this go and bring your attention back to this moment, to this video. trying to stay in contact with this witnessing perspective. For me, this ability to witness in an impersonal way creates a lot of freedom and a lot of opportunity to be different and to engage with myself in a different way. There's so many stories or reactions or feelings or thoughts that seem so self-evident and automatic and obvious that I have to do something about them when I have them, whether that's to act on them or to somehow suppress them, to consider them unacceptable and try to get rid of them. And there's a way in which we can practice simply allowing these things space to simply be. And that really helps us to begin to see the ways that we make meaning of our life and our experience. And meaning is something we kind of do automatically. It's something I think that we're kind of wired to do. We're meaning-making creatures. But we can be thoughtful about the meanings that we're creating and look at the way those meanings affect us and create our experience. For example, there was a period of time when I was really struggling to get a job and had a lot of feelings about that and had a lot of beliefs about myself that my difficulties finding work was a sign of my inadequacy or incompetency or something really painful and negative about myself, which meant that every time I had a job interview, the pressure was extremely high. I was anxious and overwhelmed, and every job felt like it had to be the job, and if it didn't work out, it was crushing. And that is too intense. That makes things really way too intense. It creates anxiety and tension in the body. It makes us less responsive and adaptive to the situation. And it's not even really true. It can't possibly be that one specific job will confirm or deny my worth as a human being, especially in an economy and a time in history when I have and probably will have multiple jobs over the course of my life. It's simply the job I'm looking for right now. And so when I have that intensity, that weightiness of meaning, it can really become a barrier. It can really get in the way of me being really effective and ironically of being effectively engaged in the task that I'm doing. If I am in the job interview and feeling all this pressure and I stumble a bit, those anxious parts or those fearful parts can really ratchet up the blame and say like, oh, I'm already screwing this up, and it can really cascade from there. On the flip side, even positive meanings have risk. A positive meaning could be, again, staying with the job metaphor, that this is the perfect job and I need this job. And so when the job's offered to me, even when I consider it and I start to notice kind of red flags or things that I don't like about the position, I might not even notice that because I'm so fixated on this job being the job. And then shortly, within months, beginning to notice that this actually wasn't the right job for me, that there's a lot that's not working about this. The commute's really long, the boss is kind of terrible, something like that. And I'm focusing on jobs, but we extend this to a lot of things. We do it like partners, potential partners. We can place a lot of weight on just one date, that it's going to really confirm or deny our worth as a partner. We can do it on all kinds of just even the smallest and seemingly simplest tasks. I think we've all had experiences where these things feel very important and pressing in the moment and can really affect us. And the ability to laugh and have distance comes from this cultivation of perspective, of observation, of witnessing, of really noticing the ways that I create these different meanings. Whether they make sense or they seem irrational, they're still there, they still affect me, and they're still worth attending to and finding space with. So that's all I have to say about that today. Thank you for listening.